It is time for spring training. Spring training is right around the corner, and it has us wondering what's the one thing we want to see from these Cincinnati Reds while they're in Arizona.
You are Locked On Reds, your daily Cincinnati Reds podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into the Locked On Reds podcast. Locked On Reds is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day, and now the #1 sports podcasting app in all the land. Thank you so much for the part you played in getting us here. We are up over 12,000 subscribers on the YouTube. We got a bunch of folks over in the audio feed. We got folks joining the Everydayer Club. We love talking baseball with you. My name's Stephen Offenbaker. I'm so happy to be here and talk a little Reds baseball with you. I love talking about the Reds. I love talking about baseball. I've been doing it for 8 seasons now in podcast form and a lot of years before that in radio and newspaper. Yeah, I know I'm old, but I love talking baseball. I love that you're here to participate in the conversation. On today's show, a little bit later, we're going to get into who is the ace of the Reds rotation, and should that person be the guy that starts opening day. We're going to talk about that here in just a few minutes. We're also going to take a look at what is realistic as far as expectations go for Elly De La Cruz in 2026, because now he has protection behind him in the lineup. Now he has 100 home runs behind him in the lineup, ready to deliver and score him. What is realistic to expect from the phenom at shortstop? And where we're going to begin is what is the one thing you want to see from these Cincinnati Reds in 2026 spring training that you're going to be looking for to set the foundation for the regular season in 2026 and what we hope is a playoff push. We got all that for you on today's show, and I am not solo. Jeff is out. He had something come up, but I went to the bench, and even though the Reds bench is a little underwhelming at times, the Locked On Reds bench is pretty deep. We've got myself and Jeff, Tim Daniel on the postcast, and then here in Hawaii, I have stashed a ringer. I have got a guy that I can go to when I really need to fill this chair, and he's in the same time zone as me, so that makes it super convenient. Welcome in Eric Matthews. He is the guru of all things UH sports at the University of Hawaii, Manoa. Follow them on social media, folks. They are a great follow, and if you're looking for a secondary team, a backup team, somebody besides your regular college team, follow the UH Rainbow Warriors. They are a good time. Eric, thanks for being here. Love talking ball with you. Love talking Reds with you.
Aloha, my friend, and I am excited to be sitting here talking about Reds baseball in early February. I cannot wait for spring training. Let's go, buddy.
Well, the truck is on the way. The truck is getting closer and closer and closer to Goodyear. I don't know if you saw on the Reds social media account, but they packed that puppy up. It has left the Queen City. It is on its way to Goodyear, Arizona. And this is a good time, I think. Coming off the heels of the Eugenio Suárez signing, it is a good time to kind of check in. We pretty much know what this team looks like. There aren't any real surprises left to be answered. There's one bullpen spot up for grabs, probably, and maybe the last bench spot is to be determined depending on how some of the outfielders play. So we kind of know what this team looks like. So where I want to start today is to ask you, as spring training gets underway and we start to see reports out of Goodyear, once we get past best shape of their life season and start to really hear about what is going on out there, what are the things you're interested in hearing? What are the things you're interested in seeing from this team as they prepare for the beginning of the 2026 season?
I don't know about you. I'm a sicko when it comes to spring training, preseason football. I look at every box score. I watch as much as I possibly can. I'm wired that way. Even though I work 50 to 60 hours a week, when it gets to February into March, we have games. I'm looking at everything. So my list can get a little long. So I'll do my best to kind of keep it short. The number one thing I'm actually looking at is left field. What is this team doing in left field? Is it going to be a platoon of Spencer Steer and Will Benson? Is it going to be a JJ Bleday situation? Is he just going to be one of those guys that roams between all 3 outfield positions? That's probably my number one to kind of figure out where this team goes when it comes to the left field spot and what we're doing. So that's where
And that's really the biggest unanswered question. It's the reason that I did not give them an A for the offseason. Listen, I don't know if you caught it or not, but this week we did our grades. I gave this team a B+. And the reason I didn't give them an A is because for another year, the third or fourth year in a row now, they did not address the outfield. Nick Krall did tremendous work in upgrading this bullpen, and going and getting Gino to bat behind Elly was a big, bold move. Great stuff. It got him up to a B+ for me. But this team has needed an outfielder now, a corner, legit outfielder that can hit for a little bit of power. They've needed that guy for multiple years, 3 or 4 years. And because they didn't get it done, it kept me from giving them an A. But I agree with you. Is it going to be Spencer Steer platooning with somebody else? Is TJ Friedel going to get reps in left when Dane Meyer is playing center? There's a lot going on in that corner. And we heard from Nick Krall yesterday that he's looking for Spencer to not only play a little bit in left, but also play a little bit in right field, both corner outfield positions, as well as DH, second base, and first base. I really think this is going to be, even more so for this Reds team than it has ever been, the year of positional flexibility. We are going to see guys all over the place, and they're going to use the DH spot to be quasi day off for guys. You're going to see lots and lots of movement within the position. But I'm with you. I think that's the single biggest unanswered question that they had heading into the offseason, and that remains unanswered. Let me ask you this. If we come out of the outfield and then onto the infield, what are you looking at on the infield during spring training? And this is specific to spring training. What do you need to see in spring training that will let you maybe breathe a sigh of relief or feel like the Reds are heading into 2026 in a good position?
Stay healthy.
Okay.
The infield in my mind is set. Like, know what you're going to get. There's going to be more than likely it's going to be Sal Stewart / Spencer Steer at first base.
Yep.
You'll put Suárez in there from what we're reading on, but he's going to be do DH first and third. Second, I understand. I know everybody's thoughts. Matt McLain is the second baseman and needs to be the second baseman.
You're preaching to the choir here, buddy. I'm the Matt McLain fan club right here.
And I'm right there. You're president, and I'm vice president, and we just got to find a treasurer. But the thing is with McLain is all these reports coming out of Reds Fest feels positive. Not to mention it's a second year after shoulder surgery. I'm not worried about Matt McLain like everybody was kind of last year. I'm really not that concerned. Again, health, by all means. Shortstop, we know. Third base, it's Key Brian Hayes. Like, I know that. So knowing these things, stay healthy. That is my biggest thing, is just stay healthy. I am interested to see what Sal Stewart does. He's dropped 15, 20 LBs. Like, I'm curious to see what he looks like in spring training and doing that to be more mobile. Now, is he being more mobile just in general? Is he being more mobile because they want to have an option at second base? So I encourage him in his workout program to be 15, 20 pounds lighter. You never know. But that's where my head is at when it comes to the infield.
So reports are he's down 26 pounds.
Okay.
And Jeff and I were both at Reds Fest, saw him in person. He is, listen, when he came out on stage during the season ticket holder Q&A, I leaned over to Jeff and I said, best shape of their life season has started early. Like the boy is ripped. Sal is ready to go. I like what Nick Krall is saying about floating guys around. And he said, he wants to get everybody to good years, get them acclimated to the positions and kind of see what they've got. I'm not convinced that Key Brian is a lock for the majority of the playing time at third base. I could see him, if he can't figure the hitting portion of this out, I could see him much more as a defensive replacement with the occasional start, because they've got enough dudes to rotate through that they could get that done. For me, looking at this infield, and I'm so glad you brought up Matt McLain. I want to see productive at-bats from him during spring training. He just, in 2025, with the shoulder and coming off the injury, and mind you, even though it was his sophomore season. It was his second season actually seeing major league pitching. All of those things combined, you just never really got the full Matt McLain. And he's not going to be the guy that he was when the Reds pulled him up. He's not going to be that guy. But he's also not this guy that he was last year. He's somewhere in the middle. If he's a 3 to 4 WAR player at second base for the Reds in 2026, that's a big win. And that's what I expect from him. I need to see him looking comfortable in the batter's box. I need to see Matt McLain barreling the ball. I need to see him hitting it where they ain't. I need to see the ball dropping for him. I need him to look comfortable. I know he's got the defense down. He's also going to be the backup shortstop for this team. And we're going to talk about Elly in the next segment. And we'll talk a little bit about Matt McLain there as well. But I look at that and I want to see big things from Matt McLain. Last guy I want to get into just very, very quickly. I hope Tyler Stevenson goes off. I want to see him looking comfortable in the batter's box. I want to see him mashing the ball more the way he does when he's on versus how he's had some slower starts. This is a contract year for him, and I want him to squeeze out every ounce of statistics that he can that benefits the Reds. It will get Tyler paid at the end of the year.
I thought this the day they signed Gino is when you have someone like that in your lineup that is consistent, may not be a consistent average or on-base guy, but is consistent threat at something, and his is being power. Mm-hmm. It takes the pressure off a lot of guys to where they play more free and fluid. Candyman was supposed to be that the last 2 years. He was supposed to be that guy that kind of was that established veteran major leaguer to help the young guys grow, and we all know it didn't work out. I mention this because of the reference of Tyler Stevenson. I mention this because of the reference of Matt McLain. Is when you have someone that's in the lineup that's able to do that, I think it helps those guys not stress at the plate and to not put unwanted just feelings of I have to be the guy here, because you know there already is a guy. And Gino is a completely different player than what Elly is at the plate. When you have things like that and they do what they're supposed to do, it makes life easier for them. So the Tyler Stevenson part, I get where you're coming from. Again, I just think Gino does so much for the lineup.
Yep. And speaking of Elly and what he's going to benefit with Gino hitting behind him, we're going to talk about Elly and what the new 2026 version of Elly De La Cruz can look like coming up next.
Tax season does not have to take over your life. This year, TurboTax is making it easier than ever to just hand things off and move on with your day. With TurboTax Full Service, you can have your taxes done for you by a trusted local expert, start to finish, without the stress or guesswork. Instead of spending hours trying to figure out forms, you can meet with a local TurboTax expert in person, or you can connect with them online. You can upload your documents, go about your day, and get updates right in the TurboTax app. It's a huge time saver and gives real peace of mind knowing that an expert is handling all of the fine details. For a limited time, you can have your taxes done by a local TurboTax expert for just $150 all in. If a TurboTax expert didn't file for you last year, just file by February 28th. Take taxes off your plate and get back to your life. Visit TurboTax.com/local to book your appointment today.
Thanks for making Locked On Reds your first listen each and every day, and for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network in all the land. You already live your team every day. Now take it up a level and go ad-free. Join the Everydayer Club today and get Locked On Reds with no interruptions over on the audio side. That's right. Ad-free audio of Locked On Reds for just $5 a month, $50 a year. You're also going to get access to a members-only Discord server where we're talking ball over there, and every single expert from every single Locked On show is also talking ball over there. You're going to get all of that. Again, $5 a month, $50 a year. If you're interested, check out lockedonreds.supercast.com or look down in the show description for the link. All right, Eric, let's keep going with this. And you segued that very nicely, because up next on our conversation list is Elly De La Cruz. And Elly pressed at times last year. Elly struggled. You could tell he was trying to carry the team. All the while, he was trying to do it with a broken wheel. He was on one leg, and he played in all 162 games. It's going to be a very different reality for Elly De La Cruz in 2026 than it was in 2025. Can you imagine having to pitch to Elly and he gets on base and And now you not only have to focus on pitching to Eugenio Suárez, but you have to worry about Elly stealing on you and getting into scoring position. You have to worry about Elly going from second to third. You have to worry about Elly maybe even stealing home on you. It's going to rattle pitchers. I love the impact that Gino has in this lineup, especially for Elly. He's finally going to get a little respect. He's finally going to get some pitches to hit. And I think he's due to break out and finally turn a corner. I think the Reds learned their lesson about playing him in all 162 games. That is not going to happen again this year. They've already said they're going to rest him some. And it doesn't have to be a lot. I pitched a plan last year where you rest Elly 1 day a month, but you do it either before or after a day off so that he gets 2 days off in a row once a month, a weekend off. That's all he needs. He's a young guy. He's athletic. He's mostly healthy. I think that's all they have to do to protect him and keep him healthy. And I think the fact now that he has 100 home runs in the lineup behind him, he's finally going to get the ability to get on base and do the Elly things again that the pitchers have really taken away from him because there was nobody else they were worried about.
So the whole Elly situation, I know his WAR was down last year compared to what it was the year before. Year before was a 5.2 WAR. Last year was a 3.6 WAR. But there were other signs that pointed to positivity for Elly. His strikeouts were down. He had, I think, 10 or 11 more at bats than he did the year before. He was down by his strikeouts went down by 40, almost 40. So that's a positive. His average was better than his career average, 266 compared to 254. So there are signs of growth here. Now, where his power was down, yes, 22 home runs compared to the year before, it was 25. So the power was down. We all thought he would get over 30. And on top of that, his stolen bases were significantly down, going from 67 down to 37. But you just talked about the wheel situation. You put a bat behind him like that. Again, I go back to the argument I made earlier. A Gino takes pressure off of a guy like Elly.
Yep.
Here's the kicker, though. I'm not paying attention to his offense right now. I think the way he is going is where he should be going for a guy that's going into technically his fourth season overall, but third full season. I want to see the defense get significantly better. I want to hear all the numbers that I heard all last season of comparing him to when Barry Larkin was early in his career and he had the errors and then he turned to a Gold Glover. That's what I am the most focused on when it comes to seeing Elly take the next step. Offensively, I'm seeing it. He's become more disciplined. He's become a little more picky, and he's trying to wait for his pitch. With Gino behind him, I think it's naturally going to happen. Can he make the turn to be the guy that is a potential Gold Glover or someone that's not going to hurt you on the field with his errors? That's what I'm realistically looking at when it comes to Elly and seeing him take the next step up.
You know, I think if you didn't follow Cincinnati closely and you just peeked in on this team, you would think that Elly had just a completely wretched year last year. But you're right. His OPS plus was 9% better than league average. His slash line last season, 264, 336, 440, was only really down a tick. The batting average, as you said, is higher. His on-base percentage was down from 339 to 336, just a little bit. And his slugging was down from 471 to 440. And that's really the big drop-off. Stolen bases were down. You look at the things, you're absolutely right. His defense is at a point now where he has to turn it on. Because I want to tell you that the best shortstop on this team plays second base right now.
Well,
and
yes.
McLain could win a Gold Glove at shortstop if they played him there every day. I have no question in my mind. So for the Reds to continue to use the defensive lineup that they're using, Elly needs to show us something at this point. The first year he was a rookie, things were going to happen. I wasn't even really that mad. I got mad a couple times for when it cost us games. I got a little mad. Didn't get too mad. Last year, I got more mad because I felt like there were times, and correct me if you disagree, but I felt like there were times that the errors were a result of lackadaisical play, that he took pitches off, that he took at-bats off when he was in the field. Now, it may not be fair. That may not be what it was, but there were a lot of plays that looked lackadaisical, and balls that I know he could have got to and gotten in front of that he didn't, that he tried to ole on the side and they got through. Those are the things I want to see go away. I want to see fundamental defensive play at shortstop.
Take this for how you want. I am by no means an expert in athletes, but I work with young athletes every single day.
Yes, you do.
And when you're around young athletes, and there is a very significant difference between a athlete that's playing Division I college athletics compared to a phenom major leaguer. I understand that. But listen to what I'm saying here is there are athletes that are on the younger side that they have always made the play. Always.
Mm-hmm.
Always. And when they have that mindset and they know how good that they are, they take their time. And they're like, I'm doing this. I'll be fine. And that happened. I feel like that happened a lot mentally with Elly. Was he knows he can rip the ball across the diamond at 97 miles an hour, and he has a guy that was playing a Gold Glove first base as Victor Steer last year. So he would rush his throw, and it would be like we saw. It would not be online. But when the guy was in tune, he was able to make the play because he wasn't rushing himself. He wasn't throwing at 97. He was throwing at 86 across the diamond, and he was making the play. Again, this is a guy growing. And take it for what you want, as I've mentioned. I've been around these young athletes, and I see it all the time. When they make that click over, then that's when you start seeing the complete upgrade. And that's what we got to see from Elly is, will he make that upgrade? Did he take note of last year going, yes, I am probably the most talented shortstop in Major League Baseball, pound for pound. But right. I can't just rely on being that because these are the best of the best. I'm up against 162 games. So he mentally has to make that step up. Naturally, I think that will also help him at the plate. But that's the difference, though. I feel like he made that adjustment at the plate last year. And that tells me that because his strikeouts were down by 40. Yep. So he's being more selective. Can he do that defensively?
I sure hope so. But listen, Elly's not the only guy I want to talk about today. And coming up, I have an interesting question to pose to you about whether the ace of this staff and the opening day starter are the same guy. We're going to talk about that coming up next.
Hiring isn't just about finding someone willing to take the job. It's about finding the right person with the right background who can actually help your business move forward. And if you want candidates who match what you're looking for, Indeed sponsored jobs is the move. Because instead of hoping that the right person stumbles across your post, Indeed helps you match with quality candidates by boosting your job listing to the people who fit your special criteria like skills, certifications, and location. Because as we always say on this podcast, hope is not a strategy. Have a good strategy with Indeed. Spend less time searching and more time interviewing candidates who check all the boxes with Indeed sponsored jobs. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to help get your job to the premium status that it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. That's Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Do it the right way with Indeed.
If you can't watch us here on YouTube, we are in every single podcasting app that's out there. I think if you find one we're not on and you need us to be on it, message Jeff on the social medias. He can probably make it happen for you. We will be there. You can take us in the car. You can take us to the gym. I always say also, Jeff loves it if you take him for a walk down by the river. We're in all the audio feeds. Also, that's where the Everydayer Club lives. $5 a month, $50 a year, ad-free. Locked on Reds. The link for that is down in the show description. All right, Eric, interesting question, because I don't know that everybody's going to agree with this. But for me, when you look at this starting rotation and what the Reds have built, there is a clear number one for me. There is a clear ace of this staff that when he's healthy and when he's right is one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball. There's also a guy on this staff that has been a Tom Browning type workhorse. He shows up every day. He gets his job done. And oh, by the way, he has really good results and was an all-star last year. And I think that guy deserves to start opening day. because he had the best year in 2025. Hunter Greene is the ace of this staff. When he is right, there is nobody that can touch Hunter Greene and his stuff. He's an amazing pitcher. And if we could get him to do it for 28 to 32 starts, that would be beautiful. Hasn't happened yet. This could be the year that he puts it together. Andrew Abbott led this team in starts last year. He was an all-star and has had a tremendous amount of success. I think that success should be rewarded and that he should start opening day, and the Reds can use some off days to juggle things around. And by the time you get to the end of April, you can get the rotation righted where Hunter Greene's back in the number one spot.
No.
I knew you were going to do this. Go ahead. Tell me why.
Frankie Montas. 2 years ago, Frankie Montas started opening day over Hunter Greene.
Mm-hmm.
And we were all about ready to riot.
Right.
Even though he was a nice signing to have in the offseason. And I'm not comparing Frankie Montas to Andrew Abbott. But it was a slap in the face to the ace.
Yeah.
If we take opening day seriously, like we do, the community of Locked On Reds fans and those that go to opening day, I have been to 5 in my life, and I have valued all 5 of them that I've gone to. We take opening day very seriously. So do the players, because they know how special opening day is in Cincinnati. I understand your feel-good, great story of Andrew Abbott. Love him. I have loved him from 2-3 years ago when he first debuted and what he's turned himself into. Think very highly of him. And I think, in my opinion, he's number 2 over Nick Lodolo. There could be an argument for that. Opening day in Cincinnati goes to your ace, and that's Hunter Greene. You do not piss off your ace. You put him in there. That's the same reason that you put him in there in game 1 against the Dodgers in the playoffs. That's why you put him in there. And you put him in there for opening day. I understand the feel good. Andrew Abbott should start the next game. He should be the number 2 starter over Nick Lodolo, in my opinion, going off of what he did last year. But Hunter Greene is your stud. Stick with your stud. Keep your stud happy.
Hunter Greene had a 4.4 WAR in 19 starts, 2.76 ERA, 107 innings pitched, an amazing 11 strikeouts per 9, 2.2 walks per 9. Andrew Abbott in 29 starts, 166 innings, 2.87 ERA. Similar walk rate, 2.3 instead of 2.2 walks per 9. Strikeouts were a little bit lower, 8.1 versus your 11, but 29 starts. The only guy with more starts was Brady Singer. I feel like that should be rewarded. The difference between Andrew Abbott and Frankie Montas is Frankie Montas wasn't here the year before. And that was a shot across Hunter Greene's bow, so to speak, of you are owed nothing. You are entitled to nothing. If you want to be this guy, go and get it. Hunter Greene, once again, did not put together an entirely healthy Major League Baseball season. And there were some questions about how long he was out. He made 19 starts. Andrew Abbott was available. And sometimes availability, as our good buddy Chris Welsh likes to say, is the best ability. Andrew Abbott was available. I think he deserves to start opening day. I think if Hunter Greene wants to be the opening day starter, he should be the best pitcher on the team, and he needs to be available.
You know what Andrew Abbott deserves? He deserves to be the number 2, and he deserves a new contract. That's what he deserves, because he's earned it. Hunter Greene is your ace. Put your ace out there. He's getting paid ace money. He has put up ace numbers the past 2 years. I understand the injury. I can't deny that. Even he acknowledged how mad that made him, that there was talk that he wasn't trying to get back quick enough. You don't make that man mad. You put him out there, you keep him happy, and you let him know, you're number 1, kiddo. You're number 1. Keep doing what you're doing. Let's see that 99-mile-an-hour fastball in the 7th inning. There we go. Keep it going. Make him happy.
I knew this was going to be a fun conversation. Everydayers, tell us what you think. Get in the comment section. Let me know. Hunter Greene, Andrew Abbott, who are you starting and why? I would love to hear from everybody on this particular issue. And that is where we're going to go ahead and wrap up this edition of Locked On Reds. Thanks as always for making Locked On Reds your first listen each and every day. For the audio folks, go make your second listen Locked On MLB. Sully's got you covered over there, talking about all of Major League Baseball on a national perspective. Lots of funny stories, lots of great insight. You're going to love Sully's show. Go check it out today, Locked On MLB. For the video folks, we're going to redirect you to Locked On's first ever 24/7 national sports network channel. All of the experts from Locked On are on that thing 24/7 talking ball. You're going to get your sports information there. If you're just looking to learn some things, doesn't matter what team, what sports, head over to that channel. We're going to send you there. You're going to love it. We're going to be back in your feed tomorrow as we get ready for spring training, as pitchers and catchers get ready to report. I imagine the whole team's out there already. I can't wait. I am looking forward to some baseball, even if it is exhibition stuff. We're going to gather up all of the news, the notes, the rumors, and the reports to keep you locked on Reds every single day.
Go Bows.
That's right. Don't let my quarterback anywhere near the transfer portal.